Oilers, you got a great offense with Connor McDavid. So I have them sweeping them.
Yeah, well, I don't think you heard my point. The San Francisco Giants have 3 more in the 2010s than the Rangers have in their entire history. So, yeah.
It's hard to get back and to get back-to-back wins. And I don't see the Lightning doing it here, so I have them losing to the Hurricanes in 6.
We don't talk about the 2010s because the 2010s had the Astros. And if the Astros didn't happen, the Yankees would have won in 2017 with the Dodgers.
He was close to Frank Reich, and they want Frank Reich back, so that's what they got. It's their discount Frank Reich.
Kaprizov and the rest of this crew, Jordan Greenway, who doesn't get enough props. He definitely is somebody who needs to be mentioned more.
Hi, this is Julie Dobbs. You're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NHL Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin. I'm joined by the man, Austin, who we talked about it with Corey Perry, but I can understand the Oilers bringing him back. And it's kind of what do the Oilers do, because this was a better team than last year's team, but the result is still the same. I wouldn't really argue it's a step back. It just took less games, but they were closer, and they were in better spots. It was a best of 3 series after they tied the series at 2-2 with their Game 4 overtime win.
Yes.
Game 4 win to overtime. And I want to say Draisaitl scored.
Yeah, Draisaitl did score the game winner in their overtime game, so yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so that's something to where you're always going to be in competition, or you're going to have a great chance because you have Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. It's just putting guys around them, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Draisaitl and McDavid obviously had great postseasons. I do think that, and I mean, last postseason, McDavid set a really high bar. In 25 games, he had 42 points, 8 goals, 34 assists. This postseason, 7 goals, 26 assists, 33 points, tied with Draisaitl for the most points in this postseason. And Draisaitl had more goals. He had 11 and with 22 assists. So I think that Draisaitl played better this postseason than McDavid did. Corey Perry with 10 goals this postseason. That's extremely, extremely impressive. And again, he is he just turned 40 not that long ago, but the next year will be his age 40 season. He turned 40 in May. So I think he could come back for one more year. Now, whether or not he'll do that, we'll see. But what's next for the Oilers? I think it's a goaltender, and I think you would trade a fair amount of either forward or defensive pieces to get it. Now, it does hurt this past season past postseason that you lost Hyman for the year when you did. Hyman was very good for them this postseason with his physicality, and losing him definitely hurts. But I think goaltending is still the biggest need for this team, and that's what would get them over the hump.
Yeah, I agree. Stuart Skinner, maybe it's just against the Stars. He has some great moments. But yeah, I do think goaltender is an issue. And I'm looking at Puckpedia. Right now, it looks like they have 11 million close to 12 million of current cap space. And it does look like an extension. Connor McDavid has 1 more year left on his contract at 12.5 million, which is actually less than Leon Draisaitl's amount. So he'll be an unrestricted free agent in 2026. So I'm sure that's something that probably happens. But you mentioned Hyman. He's under contract. You have Evander Kane, who was helpful for them. Also, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So yeah, goalie. And I think it's just depth scoring, because that's what was so good about this team this year. Wasn't McDavid and Draisaitl, but it did kind of struggle in the finals. They needed that. So I think depth is an issue that needs to be addressed for them. But if you bring Corey Perry back, Kasperi Kapanen is also a free agent. Kapanen. I think if you can bring them back, but if you do a trade, that could work. It's just, isn't Stuart Skinner young?
He's youngish, yeah, sure.
Wasn't he in the Calder
conversation?
Conversation?
3 years ago or so.
Yeah, 3 years ago. So maybe this is just kind of development, but I do wonder how do they address that situation? Because I agree that's their biggest thing, I would say.
Yeah, I could see them doing it in the draft, maybe trading up to get the best goaltender available. But I think they go in free agency and try to sign someone. And if not, I think there'll be a couple good goalies on the market for trade if they decide to go that route too.
Yeah, I'm looking at currently free agents. Yeah, as I look at it, you do Robin Leonher, the Vegas Golden Knights goalie, is going to be an unrestricted free agent. So I could see them going the older route. Maybe they trade for.
Yeah, I think Litter. I don't know if Litter actually retired, but he hasn't played in a couple of years. We'll have to see if he decides to come back or not. But I could see them going an older goalie route because a goalie with more experience, I do think, would be very helpful for them.
Yeah. There is. Yeah, because I think that way you can still keep Skinner, and I think he'd be a great backup goalie. And then you do have that older experience that could take over. And yeah, I think that's their biggest issue. They did really well defensively, I would say. As I look at John Klingberg is their only free agent, except Evan Bouchard is a restricted free agent. So that's probably going to take up a lot of their cap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. So this is the final year of Stuart Skinner's contract.
Yeah.
He'll be an unrestricted free agent next year. So, But kind of looking at it, Jack Campbell was someone they went and paid because goalie has just been an issue for them for a while. So
true, goalie has definitely been an issue for a while, and I mean, they tried to answer it with, like you said, Jack Campbell and some other guys, but it's going to take a special player to kind of get through that because I think the expectations are now so high for the Oilers to finally get it done with McDavid and Draisaitl, all that. It's going to be difficult for any goaltender to stomach the pressure that will come with that responsibility.
So goaltender is the number one issue. And then I would say depth scoring is another issue they probably want to keep.
Sure, yeah. I think that they're trying to keep depth there, but I mean, besides Bouchard and a couple of Darnell Nurse and some other guys, I do think they're willing to move off some of their lower guys or some younger guys.
Yeah. So, but this is always, I think you and I have talked about this. This, I think, is probably the toughest job as a GM because you were so close. And I wonder if you weren't facing the Panthers either of those years, you probably win the cup.
Sure, but you want to play to be the best team, you got to beat the best team, right? So I don't think that's really how they look at it.
Yeah, and my argument was just they're already a good team. It's just they have to find ways to be even better, which is really tough given you have two of the best players, and just how do you make that work in the contract sense?
Yeah, that's a good point, and we'll obviously see what they're able to do.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated, of course, as NHL free agency will come here before we even know it. Make sure you're following us in the channel for our opinions on that. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.